Some videos aren't meant to be watched, but I'm diving into real cases of haunted footage that is so infamous that paranormal investigators and skeptical experts have warned the public to stay away. Let's talk about the Seacliff Asylum basement tape, the footage that should have never been made public. In 1999, a contractor working at the abandoned Seacliff Lunatic Asylum in New Zealand captured what was meant to be routine documentation of water damage. Instead, he filmed what experts have called one of the most chilling, unexplained encounters ever recorded. The man walks through the basement, narrating the smell of mold, the peeling paint, until the camera glitches hard, drops out for a second, then comes back with a figure standing at the end of the corridor. You can't see a face, only a silhouette. The contractor calls out, thinking it's a trespasser, but the figure does not move, it just tilts its head. And then, this part made even veteran ghost hunters nauseous. The shape appears behind him in the next frame without ever walking. The contractor screams, the camera hits the floor, and the recording ends. When the footage leaked online years later, viewers reported sleep paralysis episodes on the same night they watched it. Hundreds of comments describing the same thing: a shadow figure standing in the doorway, head tilted, not moving. New Zealand historian Dr. Tina Richards confirmed the basement was where certain patients were restrained during overcrowding periods in the 1950s. Paranormal investigators reviewing the footage claim the silhouette matches descriptions of a former patient nicknamed the Watcher, which is a man who was institutionalized for violent night terrors. Skeptics analyzed the tape and couldn't find traditional editing markers from 1999 equipment. To this day, no one knows who leaked the footage or where the contractor went after quitting his job weeks later. Alice Palmer and the Lake Mungo disappearance. Now, a family vacation clip from the late 80s should be as innocent as it sounds, right? But investigators now call it one of the most disturbing pieces of analog tape ever found. It's known as the Lake Mungo recording, and multiple psychologists have cited it as one of the rare paranormal cases where the family's statements never changed once. Not in interviews, not under pressure, not even after media attention. In 1988, the Palmer family recorded their teenage daughter Alice walking along the shoreline during a picnic at Lake Mungo in Australia. She's laughing, turning towards the camera, blowing a kiss. It's wholesome, normal. But the terrifying part wasn't discovered until days after Alice actually drowned in the lake during a solo walk. As the family reviewed their old camcorder tapes to hear her voice again, they paused the footage, only to see Alice walking on the beach with a second figure behind her. A figure that looked exactly like Alice, except drained, gray, and swollen, the way her body looked when it was recovered. Experts from Charles Sturt University studied the tape in 2005 after the family finally gave permission. Analysts confirmed the footage predated Alice's passing and showed no signs of double exposure or tampering, especially not with home video equipment from the 80s. Now, the apparition's movements did not match Alice's. In fact, the ghost-like double moved slightly ahead as if leading her. The family later reported seeing Alice appear inside the home for months afterwards. Quiet, wet footprints on their hallway's carpet, reflections of her shape in windows after dark. Aboriginal elders familiar with Lake Mungo's history explain that the area is tied to thousands of years of burial traditions. Disturbing the lake bed often stirs spirits that mimic the living. Whether, they protect you or lure you depends on who you are. The 2013 Cecil Hotel Elevator incident. Okay, so this one is one of the darkest modern examples of haunted footage ever to circulate online, and unless you've been living under a rock, you should know where I'm going with this. So yeah, this is the video where 21-year-old Elisa Lam was captured behaving inexplicably in a hotel elevator before vanishing and later being found in the building's rooftop water tank. But the video itself appears to show impossible things. Elisa steps into the elevator, presses multiple buttons, then hides in the corner as though someone unseen is following her. But the elevator doors never close, not once. Engineers familiar with Otis elevators have said the timing is highly irregular, unless the door sensor was continuously triggered, which shouldn't happen without an object present. I have watched an insane amount of true crime vids on this, so source is just me, just trust me, bro, okay? So when Elisa steps out, she moves her hands in patterns experts have compared to sign language, maybe hypnosis gestures, and even classic disassociative motor responses. But the strangest detail is the timestamp. At key moments, it jumps, it stutters, or it speeds up unnaturally, yet police insist they did not edit it. Paranormal analysis later pointed out that Elisa appears to talk to something or someone in the hallway, but security confirms that the hallway was completely empty. The rooftop where her body was found had multiple locked doors, alarms, and required extreme physical effort to access. Police never fully explained how she even reached the tank. And the tank's heavy lid, it was found closed, so what? what? Viewers of the leaked unedited version claim to hear faint whispers in the background, whispers that supposedly weren't present on the official release. Some reported intrusive thoughts, nightmares of drowning, or even overwhelming nausea immediately after watching it. Experts attributed this to psychological suggestion, but the consistency of these reports sparks serious concern in the paranormal community. Honestly, this is still one that haunts me daily. The security guard ghost tape takes us to one of the most notorious pieces of paranormal broadcasting. Now, in 2002, on November 11th, the clip recorded during a night shift at one of Santiago's busiest emergency wards in the Buenos Aires hospital shows a security guard welcoming in a ghost. As you can see the doors of the hospital opening, and the footage honestly circulated online, it left the internet spooked because it shows the guard at the hospital and looks to be talking to an invisible person. He actually walks up to the doors with a clipboard in his hand and again appears to have a full-blown conversation with someone, but there simply is no one there. The 38-second footage, which has amassed millions of views with the title Ghost Patient, was captured by CCTV at 3 a.m. He then removed the retractable belt barrier as if he was about to let a person in, and then appeared to write something on a clipboard. A second camera then actually shows a second guard getting out a wheelchair while continuing to have a conversation with the air. He then waves his hands in the air, puts the wheelchair back. Now, what makes this spookier is that local Argentinian news outlets reported that the guard in question actually registered the phantom patient under the name of a woman who had passed away the previous day. This is one of the most extreme rare cases where professional journalists and eyewitnesses couldn't even explain it other than to just say it was probably a prank. It remains one of Latin America's most infamous paranormal events. I don't know, this one blows my mind, but what do you guys think? The legendary Hellfire Club tunnel recordings. Now, this is a piece of Irish paranormal evidence so disturbing that the team who captured it publicly stated they regretted ever releasing it. Even skeptics call it deeply unsettling, and paranormal investigators say the audio alone can trigger hallucinations. The clip was filmed beneath the Montpelier Hill ruins, formerly the site of the Dublin Hellfire Club, which is a notorious 18th century meeting place for aristocrats who allegedly, dabbled in ritual summonings. Now, beneath the ruins lies a series of old stone tunnels used for storage, drinking gatherings, and according to historical accounts, animal sacrifices. Yuck. In 2011, a paranormal group entered the tunnels after locals reported screams echoing at night. The footage starts with them joking, laughing, exploring the narrow corridors, but things escalate instantly. First, the audio cuts, not fully, but someone is dragging a heavy metal object in a distant room. Then one investigator's camera stops recording, even though the battery was at 80%. Second later, another camera captures a figure crossing the passageway 15 feet ahead, a figure whose legs never bend, whose head is elongated, whose movement looks just wrong. I mean, when they play it back later, no one had seen the figure at the moment it walked by. Things escalate though when they reach the final chamber. The air pressure shifts, one investigator starts crying uncontrollably, claiming her ears are ringing, and another says he can't breathe. Their thermal camera actually shows a form crouched in the corner, except its temperature reads hotter than the environment by an impossible margin. When one investigator calls out there, the audio picks up a response, something layered, multi-tone, not fitting human vocal range. It says, below. Minutes after recording, one team member collapses from what doctors later called unexplained shock. The group left immediately and swore never to return, and the raw footage leaked onto Paranormal Forum shortly after, despite the team's, attempts to contain it. Viewers reported extreme reactions, migraines, insomnia, sleep paralysis. One person claimed they woke up scratching sounds beneath their floorboards. I mean, some paranormal groups believe the tunnels amplify whatever energy has lingered there since the Hellfire Club's early rituals. Well, let me know. Are you gonna have nightmares tonight or nah? I mean, I know I'm scared, but thanks for watching. I'm your host, Ashley. I'll see you later. These cursed cemeteries are so frightening. I'm warning you from now to never ever visit them. Greyfriars Kirkyard in Scotland. If you've ever rolled your eyes at the idea of a violent ghost, just wait until you hear about the place where hundreds of visitors have reported being scratched, bruised, shoved, and even knocked unconscious. And yes, it's all documented. Greyfriars Kirkyard isn't just haunted, it's the only graveyard in the world where officials literally had to lock a tomb shut because the ghost inside was attacking people. Greyfriars sits in the heart of Edinburgh, Scotland. Beautiful, old, dark, and exactly the kind of place where, Shakespeare would have set up an assassination. For centuries, it was just another historic cemetery until the 1990s, when the ghost of one of Scotland's most brutal men apparently woke up. His name was Sir George Mackenzie, known in history as Bloody Mackenzie, for imprisoning, tormenting, and began unaliving thousands of Covenanters in the 1600s. His mausoleum sits near the section of the graveyard where he buried the people he oppressed, and in 1999, a homeless man broke into the tomb to sleep for the night.